This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, traders. Welcome back to the follow-up session for the Bank of England and some volatility as expected in the markets. Just following up, we looked at euro sterling earlier. We had a look at the rate decision, what was coming up, and we have fallen in line. It's been a 25 basis point rate hike. The interesting thing is, it struck a more hawkish tone in terms of the votes. We talked earlier about, would we get some more dissenters? Would we have that dovish stance? Would we see one unchanged become two unchanged? It's been the opposite. We've seen a much more hawkish tone with all 9 MPC members voting for a rate hike, no unchanged, no rate cuts. However, the commentary with that has struck a more dovish tone. Modest tightening going forward into the future. It was a 6-3 vote for 50 basis points. Okay, so similar story really to the Fed, that 75 basis point hike that was forecast or was being talked about, taken off the table last night, giving the Fed a largely more dovish outlook. And it's a similar story here with Bailey and the BOE today. We're talking about modest tightening, not any severity to it. And we've taken off the prospect really of a 50 basis point hike. Again, leaving it in the back pocket should they wish to use it further down the road. Now let's have a look at that euro sterling chart then and see the initial reaction. We looked earlier and identified this uptrend that we'd seen on these hourly time frames, the more intraday trends, and we've seen the move now, that continuation of the positivity. So that daily, just a quick reminder for ourselves, that daily trend that was showing signs of weakness, and we'd broken through that previous high, and we'd started putting in some potential higher lows, not yet confirmed. That positivity, that strong buying pressure that we've really seen come in from the start of March, following through here now, and we're just seeing that continuation, that break, and those levels, those key levels that we were looking at now coming into question. So we've taken out the range, the highs of the range, which was put in place from sort of the tail end of April, this 84.61 level. We've taken out 84.78, which was the previous daily highs, and we're now just taking a breather and pausing at the 85 round number. So big psychological round number in play for us here in euro sterling, and a big daily high sat just up above that. So the tone here, has been, whilst the initial, headline figures suggest far more hawkish, and we've got the initial reaction low. We'll perhaps just look at this on a 1 minute chart. There we go. We'll just see this more clearly here. This 1 minute chart. We can see the initial spike low immediately rejecting these lows when that dovish statement came out, pushing us back up through the highs. It's been taking a pause now, as we said, at that 8,500 round number, and this really is a carbon copy now of the Fed last night. We saw the initial reaction, dovish tone. The moment we kind of hit some technical levels, some key resistance, markets jamming on the brakes. And there's no better example of that for me. If we're talking back towards the US, it's really looking at what happened on the S&P 500. It was a real excellent example, to be honest, of fundamental turned technical. And we see that push higher, the dovish tone, freeing up the opportunity for indice markets, some of those risk assets to push higher. But the previous resistance, which was set in, which broke through significant lows. So we had this sell-off taking out 4,200, 4,150. The sell-offs at this level, we're trading up at 4,300 here. Significant resistance, big round number. The sell-offs intensifying every time. We hit that level to the absolute pip. We've turned around this morning and we're just seeing some more weakness come in. So this could be some short-term gains, but opportunities, I think, for longs back through should these indices turn bullish, or of course the favorable trade here to continue with that shorting of this market away from this resistance. So we can see it here that the initial impulse move was excellent. We've taken a breather straight away at the big round number 4,300, and of course we come to euro sterling. We see that big impulsive move up, but immediately failing at the round number of 85. And if we just come across to cable, we see a similar scenario here at the moment. So we had the lows down through here as immediate targets. We've just come through that, and we're just testing now. We're just heading down in towards this region of lows. Sits just above sort of 124 kind of a level. Where's that 124 marker? Yeah, sat just down below these lows here. We're trading at 124.50 at the moment. So support coming in, key support, big lows of the day. Perhaps have taken a breather in our markets before we see any potential follow through and continuation. But the tone here, despite 9 votes, despite it being unanimous, 9-0 for a rate hike, the commentary for the policy is far more dovish. The reaction has resulted in weakness in sterling. We've seen an uptick in FTSE, mirroring the Fed last night. And of course, now we're going to go straight into Governor Bailey, who started speaking now in his press conference, where we would expect him to follow up with his monetary policy report and his current guidance for, yes, tightening, but moderate tightening. Okay, so great volatility this week. The Fed last night, I know Mark's covered that in some previous snapshots. The BOE now today, and of course, let's not forget, we're going to roll straight headfirst into non-farm payrolls tomorrow. So we'll pick that up on our weekly market insights tomorrow. I hope you got some trades in there. I hope you capitalized on the volatility. If you've missed these positions, if you've missed these trades, do not jump into those positions. Preserve that capital. There will be trading opportunities to come. Okay, so some nice moves. Have a lovely week, the rest of your week, and we'll catch up with you soon on another Market Insights.